Rubber Beauties, Rubber Beauties, they're true to themselves. Rubber Beauties, they're true. It's true, it's true, it's true. Rubber Beauties, Rubber Beauties, they're true to themselves.
Welcome to Rubber Beauties, brought to you by betsafe.net. Here's Christoph and Puffy. Unfortunately, we could not fire him from the Rubber Boots podcast because he lawyered up on us. But before he has a chance to lawyer up on us again, we have fired Lester from the Rubber Beauties podcast. He is no longer allowed to comment on any of the episodes of Beauties. Fair,
I just want to specify one thing. We will still be using his music as the theme.
Yes.
Yes. And he will not get paid, because that's the way we roll here on Rubber Beauties. No, Lester's at a doctor's appointment today. If you listen to the Rubber Boots podcast, which will be out later on this week, we tape them right after the other. I was going to say concurrently, but that would be at the same time.
At the same time. That might be easier for me.
Sometimes it sounds like that.
So Lester's not with us today. He'll be back on Rubber Beauties. Lester was sad to miss this one because he really enjoyed the Mike Johnson chapter of Beauties, which I did as well. I don't want to give MJ a big head because, you know, the guy's already a good-looking guy who played in the NHL and everything else, but one of the best analysts for hockey in the world. He can come into any show. I always say this about MJ. When he is beside me, whether we're doing a regional game or whatever, it just makes my job so much easier. Hey, Puffy? And you're same with your job producing, because he just,
for sure.
He knows what he wants. He sees the game. He's always entertaining. And it was the same with this. When I started Beauties, whenever it was now, a year and a half ago, MJ was one of the first guys I went to. And those two stories that he tells were just, again, I've said this before, but the exact reason that I wrote the book, because of stories like this. And if we do a Beauty sequel, and I'll be frank with you guys right now, I'm spending this month trying to figure it out, because a lot of people are asking about a sequel, and the publishers have already approached me about a sequel.
Ooh.
And I just have to wrap my head around spending another year writing a book, right? Because you kind of ignore your dogs and your family.
Now, you might have this technology, but I saw on like a TikTok thing yesterday that you can press like a couple buttons on your laptop, and then it turns to where you can just dictate into your computer in the Word.
I can't. That
You
that
can
exists.
do it on your phone as well.
So you could do the phone conversation, and then you just hold the phone over the computer, and then it will write the book for you.
Oh, yeah. Flawlessly too, with zero.
You could write like
errors.
3 a year.
Have you ever used the microphone feature on your phone, Puffy?
No.
Like 3/4 of my texting is done with the microphone feature. You could dictate text.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's right there on your iPhone, Puffy.
Although I will say it's not foolproof.
No, it's really bad. I do it when that's the way if I'm driving and that's the only way I'll do something if I had to send a message to somebody. But
really?
it doesn't autocorrect particularly well. No, and there's another thing
called.
That's
how you do it. You go like this. You go like this.
No, you don't do that while you're driving. That is a horrible thing to say on the spot. I found a couple of things. There's a thing called Trint, which I use. I'll give them a free plug. They should sponsor my book, but they haven't. Where you conduct an interview, and it goes into the app, and it transcribes the interview in like 5 minutes. I could do an hour interview with somebody, and Trint transcribes the entire interview. So that helps in the book process. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Stoff uses Trent when he's putting together these podcasts.
Yeah.
So this is all apropos of nothing, and I don't know if our listeners care about it whatsoever, but I'm mulling the sequel. And the point I was trying to get to was MJ told me the other night in the studio a story that's better than either one of these stories.
Really?
And so Am I allowed to use the same guy in the sequel to Beauties? I think so,
100%.
right?
Oh,
The
yeah.
fresh story.
Stories for sure,
Of course.
100%.
People want to see the
So-
same characters.
I won't give it away, but MJ will be in Beauties 2 if that indeed does happen, and I can wrap my head around writing a book for another year. So these two stories are hilarious. The fact that, first of all, one of my favorite parts of that is the fact that, MJ's only been out of the league for whatever. So this is early 2000s, that they were just giving out
Cash.
envelopes full of money in the Maple Leafs
amazing.
dressing room, right?
That's so good.
Sounds pretty good.
For meeting these bonuses.
Like, wouldn't you rather
remarkable.
get paid that way now? Like, imagine like we were just hanging at work and then someone came down with envelopes of cash and started just giving us our money. Well, you would get the briefcase.
It would.
The Brinks truck backing up
Yeah.
outside.
It would not, Puffy. Would that work well for you? In
No,
life?
they'd be like, well, I know it wouldn't make it home.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the fact that's got to be problematic for the tax folks. I'm sure the period has expired by which you could go back and audit
The tax folks get enough from us. They can go kiss our asses.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that, but it seems all highly illegal. But I love the fact that happened as well, and that in his rookie season he would. And we wonder how many times that happens where guys celebrate bonuses that we don't know about, right?
Oh,
Where
yeah.
they've made $100,000 or $500,000
Like,
for
I'm
reaching
sure
a goal
some
quota.
reaction shots that we've seen over the years where it didn't really make 100% sense, that it was to do with these kind of bonuses.
Yeah.
And the fact that, Chris Gratton would remember, hockey players have long memories. And the Doug Gilmour story is probably even funnier because for, whatever it was, 8 years, Gilmour hated MJ for this celebration. Now, I tried so hard to find the video of this. And once again, I know some people do this out of order and they listen to this before they listen to Beauties. But if you haven't listened to Beauties, basically in a Toronto-Chicago game, Toronto's up, I believe it was 8-1 or whatever. MJ scores like the 9th goal. And at the same time he scores, Eric Weinrich, the Hawks defenseman, sort of hits him and his arms go up in the air. And MJ maintains he was not celebrating in any way. But Doug Gilmour on the Blackhawks saw it, thought MJ was celebrating in a romp and held it against him for years. And we can't find the video of this because that's the one I want to see more than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't exist in our archives ever. It doesn't exist on the internet. Spend as much time as I did looking for it. But I need to find this to fully exonerate MJ from that celebration.
Imagine if it found the video and there's actually a fist pump or something.
He's banging on the glass. He's going crazy.
That'd
be even better.
Hilarious.
That'd be a great story for Beauties too.
Yes.
Beauties too, right? But Gilmour
Beauties
too.
The ugly truth.
Dougie Gilmour is another one of these guys. Hockey players are hilarious because they can be like so mean and tough on the ice and be the nicest guys. And I see Doug kind of the same places that MJ see Doug at golf tournaments and such. And the fact that he wouldn't talk to him for years at golf tournaments. Dougie's about the nicest guy you can meet at places like this.
Yeah.
I just find absolutely hilarious. So hope you enjoyed that edition of Beauties, Rubber Beauties. We'll be back with another installment next week.
Rubber Beauties, the truth to themselves. Rubber Beauties, the truth. It's true. Rubber Beauties, Rubber Beauties.